Welcome to Conversations with Tom Shorkey. Conversations explores the past, the present, and the future of the communities in which we live through the eyes of interesting individuals. Now let's join our host, Tom Shorkey.
Welcome to Conversations. I'm your host for today's program, Tom Shorkey. With us today is a local business owner in St. Clair, St. Clair High graduate. But before we talk to her about her business, I'd like you to know that as we do research for this program, we found out that there are at least 95 similar businesses in St. Clair County. Probably between 10 and 12 in the city of St. Clair. So I guess our first question for today's guest is, how in the heck did you go into the salon business? Our guest today is Sonja Furtah from Sonja's Salon in beautiful downtown St. Clair. Welcome, Sonja.
Thanks, Tom.
Tell me about that. Now, let's go back a little bit. You're a St. Clair kid, I think, for the most part.
Yep.
St. Clair High grad.
Yeah.
And from the time you were third grade, you wanted to be a hairstylist?
No.
If somebody would have hit you with the wand when you were about 16 years old and said, Sonja, what are you going to be for the rest of your life? What would you have said?
I think I would have done more secretarial. You know, my mom had always done stuff like that, so that was always easy access for me, you know, typewriter and stuff she had at home, and that's kind of a couple of the classes that I had taken in high school, shorthand and typing, and I don't know, I like doing that.
But then life happens, and you graduate from St. Clair High, get married, have a couple kids, and about mid-20s, what decision did you make?
I actually was divorced, and a boyfriend, had suggested going to hair school. And I mean, I used to cut my own hair, then go have it fixed. But it sounded good. I could go during the day. They had daycare for my kids, and I just picked up and started going. And actually, I went to Warren Woods. I went all the way down there every day, for cosmetology.
Oh, you lived here, but you went all the way down there?
Yes, they had a program down there, and that's where they were going, and I'm like, sounds good.
How long do you have to go to cosmetology school?
I forget how long it was. I want to tell you like a year. I know it's so many hours because I know I did the one duration, and then Jeremy, being my oldest, had started kindergarten, so I just finished up maybe a month or two, going a couple kind of half days or whatnot around his schedule, and then I was done.
Do people go into, their first jobs because maybe they're young moms, part-time? Is that usually how you start, or did you jump in with both feet with your first job? Where was it?
I
Marysville?
was full-time. I worked in Marysville for Bernie Hunter, all-American hair salon.
Okay.
Yeah, Bernie's been around a long time.
How long you worked for?
You know what, I don't remember. I want to say 5 or 6 years maybe when I started out. And I wound up going there, getting out of school, because a friend of mine that I had grown up with worked there. Mm-hmm. So she had asked if I was interested, and I went right there out of cosmetology.
So how'd you get out of Marysville and into St. Clair to do business?
I had another friend, because I lived in St. Clair.
Friends.
I know. They were looking for help in St. Clair and knew I had lived there, and the kids were going to school there. It's kind of hard to run back and forth when school calls. So I actually went to St. Clair, and then I had worked at a salon in St. Clair for, again, maybe 5, 6 years, I forget.
Was it always in the back of your head when you're working for other people, whether it was Marysville or St. Clair, that I can do this myself? I can run my own show? How'd that transition occur?
That probably would have never not been. I actually decided I wanted to do my own thing just because I had my own ideas on how I wanted to run things or what I wanted to do. So I just left, and I had an opportunity, and I just did my own thing, and my own little shop on Clinton.
All right, this will be a geography test for some people in the St. Clair area, but just the different places you started to be Sonja's Salon. Give me 2 or 3 of them before you moved the other side of the bridge.
I was on Clinton for a year. I was over on South River Road by the Dairy Queen for 2 years. I was back on this side of the bridge for 3 over in on J and between 3rd and 4th. And after that, I wound up back on the other side of the bridge again, where I'm at now, down near Cargill and Jets and on the South River side.
For our audience at home, we would find your salon now, Sonja's, south of the bridge, across from Cargill. Tyler's Market.
Next to
People
Tyler's
remember
Market.
Tyler's
By the
Market.
liquor store.
By the liquor store that isn't in business anymore. Kind of right just south of town.
Yep.
How long you been in that building?
I think this year's 11 years.
Now, how many people work for you in that building?
I have 8 stylists, including me, and 1 nail tech.
When you first went down there 11 years ago, how many, was it just you and a couple other people? Or did you, in your mind, envision, this spot's big enough, we could really make this happen down here? Or how many people?
I think I had the same, maybe 1 short. I think I had almost the same amount of people when I went down there. Every move I added a person or 2, depending, because every time I moved it was a little bit bigger place. I had a little bit more room, so I think I might have only had maybe 7 then.
Yeah. When you have stylists come in to work with you, do they already have a clientele basis, or do you ever just hire any rookies out of cosmetology school?
I feel like everybody has kind of had at some point. I probably had a couple, previous spots that I've been before that had, started a little bit of clientele, but I feel like I haven't had anybody new in a while. I've had my set group for quite a while.
Now, people have commented about, the friendliness and the atmosphere in your salon. What's different about Sonja's salon that might be just a little different than the other 95 or 100 in St. Clair County?
Hard to say, because other than, visiting friends in the salon they work at, that I've popped in, and I guess my biggest thing was the first that I went by myself, as I had other people commenting. I cannot not say hi to you. I don't care if you sit in my chair or not. I just know people, and hi, how's it going, and talk and whatever. And some people are like, yeah, you don't talk to other people's customers, or some people are kind of funny about that, like you were stealing. And I said, I've fortunately never worked anywhere where somebody was trying to steal your customer or anything else, but I'm just always, everybody just kind of greets each other, and it takes care of everybody else's customers. So I don't know if that's the same at other places or not. I just have some people that compliment me on that. Everybody's always so friendly.
And they are. And for the record at home, Sonja is not my barber.
Right.
Some salons have just a plethora of products that they're selling. Is that a moneymaker for a salon? Or I notice some places like yours, not so much. What's the pro and con of having a lot of products?
Some do. It's nice to have what you use at the salon or what you suggest to other people to make sure they're using the right products. I have a lot of what we use at the back bar or some other. We all like different products, different brands. So it's kind of hard for me to have all that room for, what everybody uses. Some people will just, like, if there's something that I use for you, I might just pick that up when you need it or something, because if I had stuff that everybody had, I'd need a whole wall. I might have to take out. So, and some of that is as well, you can get with the the brands and stuff companies and do a lot of their retail or their, I don't even know how I want to word that, but to run their product line and commissions and whatever. I just feel like for what we have, it's easier to just keep it small.
All right. Let me ask you, maybe if you asked 10 people, how do stylists get paid? Probably 8 out of 10 have no real idea. I know they pay their stylists when they go in. But is it either a stylist works on a commission where the owner has a commission on what they do, or they rent their chairs, or is there some other way? How's that
Usually
work?
either. I have had both since, my first job and the second place, and have done either or. Probably was more commission off the get-go. And then I had, for other girls that came, they were used to doing rent, and that was fine. Some, if you want to do weekly, some do weekly. I have, a couple now that do monthly. I kind of switched all mine to rent. Everybody has their set people, and it's just easier money-wise because we have so much, going on at the salon, and me spending 2 hours trying to balance the till and who forgot to ring this and stuff like that at the end of the week. It just is a little bit easier for me.
And it would seem like it would be easier, but also the stylist would have to have their book of clients, because if you were a new kid on the block coming in and having to rent your spot and then just do 3 jobs a day.
Right. And we still have the girls that came to me that were doing that. They still do their own book when they are there during the day, though, on that day. Or I have shot a text, hey, you're coming in at noon today. Do you have any openings? I have somebody wanting in. I try to accommodate whoever has called or just needs in today. I'm working on this other computer program, setting that up right now that a friend of mine has at her salon. So you can view the book at any given time to know who's coming in, what time, if they maybe have an opening. You can look at it on your phone, let alone be at the front desk to, see who's available, other than all our, paper book with erase and scribble and tear the page, so everybody can see the schedule even when you're not there.
So with, smartphones and everybody's got one in their pocket and whatever, and as the customers do, you don't need to have a receptionist anymore? I mean, how's that work?
You know what? We haven't, only because of the way some schedule is. Like, I know a lot of the 2 girls do a lot of all their people appointments on their phones. But I feel like anymore with the phones, a lot of people text you, I'm going to be late, or I got to change my appointment. I mean, we still have a lot that call. I would never get rid of that phone. But I feel like one of us always has a minute to run over and grab the phone and, make an appointment or whatnot at any given time. So I haven't leaned toward that window.
Good. Well, and I notice some salons have somebody that'll do nails, or they'll do them on Friday or Saturday morning or whatever, but you have a full-time corner with a nail person. Tell me a little bit about the nail corner.
Yeah, I have Lee, that I think everybody knows, when she had, her nail salon over there by Neiman's. And she had moved away for a couple of years, went to Oregon, and then was coming back. And I've known her place. I'd never met her, and apparently we have a lot of mutual friends, because one of them called me and said, she's coming back to town. Do you have room? Do you need somebody still? And she came back, and her and I hooked up, and it's been wonderful, because her clients, we still have some years later going, oh my gosh, this is you. You're back, and didn't know. And for us to have her, some of her customers, might get their hair done, and some of our customers will get their nails done, and that's worked out great.
Sounds like a good win-win situation. What's the percentage of men that come into your salon? Is it all women customers for the most part?
No, depending on the day, we have a fair amount of guys that come in. I'd almost want to say half and half. And then all our girls are, different hours, different days. So we have some that, do earlier and some that stay late. So I feel like for people popping in as well, we can usually accommodate somebody, time-wise.
What would, if you were getting your hair done someplace else, what's something that drives you crazy when a stylist does something? What is it that you try to avoid in your shop? Is there anything?
I can't think of.
It's kind of a tricky question.
Yeah. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
All right. What about this? What about the physical side, where I have heard that veteran stylists end up with maybe carpal tunnel, maybe shoulder problems, maybe feet or leg problems, because frankly, you're on your feet all day long.
Yeah.
And you're usually in an elevated position. Is that ever an issue with anybody?
Yeah. Actually, I know some of us have all had some little issue here and there. Sue actually is our one that just had her hand surgery on her hand and is recovering well. But yeah, I mean, me personally, a lot of mine is like neck and shoulders, like you said, from being this a lot. Yeah. They have better mats now. I know we had all just got new mats, better cushion and whatever, and that makes a huge difference. Me, half the time I got my tennis shoes on with my extra support just because it's a long day to stand. Sometimes my knees get achy, and I just feel like, yes, we all have those issues.
Well, and the reason I pointed that out is I think sometimes people think, oh, that's an easy job. Just sit there and snip hair and talk to people and
right, yeah,
whatever,
no sitting. No sitting.
Yeah.
I laugh because even with my phone, it'll go off and it says time to stand. I go, I've been standing.
Yeah. What about this? There's kind of a newer concept. I've seen it in Macomb County a little bit. I don't know if it exists in St. Clair County, where somebody buys a building, relatively new building, and it is individual. Stylists rent their individual little offices, rooms, or whatever. There's a common reception area, but there might be 15 or 20 stylists.
Yeah.
Are there pros and cons to that?
I've looked at that. I've seen a lot of things on that. I thought that was kind of neat because it's still you doing your own business, your own salon, and I guess I associate that with maybe somebody that does massage.
Yeah.
A lot of them, you might have your own room, you have things set up the way you want, and you kind of rent your room.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of that, needing more equipment, is kind of the same, and doing things how you want in your own little, but without having this huge building and anybody else. Sometimes I feel like we all still work together because we're all in one room and helping each other out.
Yeah.
But we all do our own little things, our different products, our different, tools or whatnot. So that being a little more separate, but yeah, and I've seen a lot of stuff on that. I feel like that's very interesting for somebody that would like to just do their thing.
In their own spot.
Yeah.
But when I had my conversation research team look into that, they came up with a thing that those things are all good and true, but if there was a downside, it is the stylists who only get their person in there to talk to, and the camaraderie, like you get in it's almost like solitary confinement or something, and that's not meant for everybody, I guess.
Right, and plus you would have to do your own business, your own advertising, and if you're sick, who's covering? You're going to have to cancel all your people. So like sometimes too with us, if you're sick, you can move your people, but who you can't, or if you actually need us to make phone calls, same thing too. If we can squeeze somebody in that can't change, we're more accommodating.
That's a great point. That would put somebody kind of in a box.
Yeah,
there.
but we are more entertaining.
All right, a young person comes up to you and says, Sonja, I'm really thinking about going to cosmetology school. Or somebody who's been to cosmetology school and says, what advice would you have as I get started in this career? What would you tell young people?
I've had a couple people ask, or like family members of somebody that was doing that ask. A lot of times if you can get into somewhere that has like a lot of walk-in basis, even like Great Clips, Fantastic Sam's, somewhere that has a lot of traffic, you can build up clientele from there, but you have more traffic to be continually working more. I mean, not that you can't be in a salon or even come to my salon and, promote yourself, us promote you. I feel like sometimes some of those, you have a lot of people that just want to walk in. They don't want to make an appointment, or they'll wait. And sometimes those are good to start out with. Most of the people I know have started out.
Plus you get a lot more action and a lot more practice, I would guess.
Yes, yeah.
Do your the people you work with and or yourself, do you go to these hair shows to see what's new and different, or is that really something that's
actually, we were talking about going to the Chicago one that's coming up in a couple months. I haven't been to that in years. They have a lot of the stores, the distributors have some in-store classes anymore, which are nice because on certain single subjects and whatnot, and you can sign up and go. Some have hands-on. It might not be, say, the store in Marysville, but one of their other branches I might have to go to depending on the day and the class, or, it's an all day. Those make it a little more convenient to go to instead of doing a big weekend and going far away. I mean, some of those are nice and some of those are overwhelming because you name it, if you can't find it there, and there's a lot of things that some of those, even the distributors have online, class tutorials you can sign up for even on that, or something you can purchase and download and have it, let alone a DVD. But yeah, I mean, they have shows everywhere. They even have them on cruises and whatever else. But it's, these ones you can do some quick stuff, and through, like I said, different companies and distributors that have that stuff, to look at stuff at any given time, not have to make a whole travel for it.
What about, do you ever find yourself in the position, and maybe it's with a younger person rather than somebody who's 35 or 40, when they come in and maybe they show you the picture, or the woman wants half her hair buzzed off and something else going this way, do you ever find yourself saying, is that what you really want to do, or do you pretty much do what they ask?
Sometimes they're like those friends that turn around and say, I want bangs, and it's like, no, you don't. Do you remember when we did that? I mean, I'm game to try something different or whatever, but I feel like a lot is communication on what are you looking at in this picture. Is it the cut? Is it the color? This person's hair looks kind of thicker. You're going to have to do more to get it to do that, but just a lot of communication. Because somebody might say they want their hair blonder. Well, do you want it lighter in color blonder, or do you want it more quantity, blonder? It's still but trying to figure out what they are seeing in the picture, because that might not be what they mean at all.
Or when they get all done and they say, well, I didn't want that much taken off,
right?
Or something like that. Not much you can do about it then. What's the, for being the owner of the building and kind of, you have to be the mother hen for 7 or 8 people. What's the hardest part about running your own show there?
Just a lot of, I guess, background stuff, the making sure the parking lot's plowed, the bills are paid, this is clean, that's done. Just kind of keeping everybody together and on the same page of what the game plan is, and especially if there's change, hey, we're going to do this like this now, and make sure everybody is, on board with it. Because sometimes I could work with you all day long, and other than hey, you want to get the phone, or let me fold those towels, it's not like we're having conversation, just quick.
What's the most fun? When you get up in the morning, you're usually pepped up and ready to go to work. What's the most fun part of your job?
I guess just, the people that come in, some are families, some are friends, we have a lot of good people, a lot of laughs, depending on who's in on that day. Some of the regulars that are in their same day, same window. My dad brings the newspaper down every morning, drops it off to share with us, and we laugh because he always says he was hanging out there when he was a kid, and it was Gallagher's gas station. And I said, well, you're still hanging out here.
Well,
but
that's
just, and just seeing different people, and sometimes people all the time, you didn't know they were related over here, and it's like, oh my gosh, small world.
Okay, I stopped by your shop a few weeks ago, and some woman was in there getting her hair cut that had just moved to town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and with things going on with the St. Clair Inn and a lot of development around, if somebody moves to St. Clair and you got a chance to give a little 20-second commercial on why they may want to pop into Sonja's to get their hair styled, what would you, why should somebody come into your shop?
I don't know. I think I have a great bunch of girls that work with me. I think we all do different things individually, but we all work good as a team. I feel like anybody that comes in is going to be accommodated, whether you're in this chair or that chair. Lee does great nails. She's always been busy doing nails. I have a hard time tooting my own horn. I mean, I just feel like I have friends in other salons around town, and everybody does something different. And if there's something that we don't do, and I know somebody that does do, I'll refer them as well. Everybody does something different in their own unique way as well.
And with all of our barbershops and salons in St. Clair and in St. Clair County, it seems like every couple of weeks somebody needs to get their hair worked on a little bit.
Yeah.
How come, and this is kind of an off-the-wall question, most women, I think after a certain age, and I say mid-40s, get their color touched up a little bit or a lot. And it looks real natural on most people, whatever. How come when men get their hair colored, it either looks like there's an animal on their head or they're either black shoe polish or rusty brown? What's with coloring men's hair?
I think some of them just do their own.
It could be.
I mean, they have your men's formula on the shelf at the store, and sometimes they don't know. I'm not saying anybody that puts their own color on, box color or whatever, knows what they're doing, but I think some guys put it on and think they read the directions, and it depends. Are you covering, whiter hair, gray hair? Was it a nice color, too dark and faded out that it's kind of orangey, brassy? They have a lot of stuff for us on the market for guys and for the different tones, the fade out factor. So, sometimes it's not somebody's cup of tea, and other times I think you just put it on and it's like, no, that's too obvious. So, and maybe they like it that dark.
Yeah, maybe they do. Well, for our listeners at home, I hope you've enjoyed our conversation with Sonja today, and you can tell by her enthusiasm, and I think it permeates her salon down there on just south of the bridge in St. Clair that we've enjoyed having Sonja today. And if anybody's got any questions, and if any of you guys out there are thinking about coloring your hair, talk to Sonja. On behalf of Conversations, Paul Dingeman, Cable Channel 6, it's been our pleasure to have Sonja as our guest today. Thanks.
Thank you.
You've been watching Conversations with Tom Shorkey. Conversations explores the past, the present, and the future of the communities in which we live through the eyes of interesting individuals. If you have an idea for a future conversation, please contact us at www.watchctv.org. Thanks for watching Conversations with Tom Shorkey.